The Australian alternative energy industry has been through some significant changes over the last 5 years. For most of the last decade and the decades before it, it was primarily driven by off-grid, so the supply of renewable energy to support power stations on cattle stations, on mining sites, on remote Aboriginal communities. Over the last 5 years, there's been a significant change with both wind and solar, and also some of the other technologies around trying to utilise grid-connected energy. And the solar systems that you see around us here are all connected to the grid. That industry has increased by several 100% over what it was 5 years ago. Indeed, in Alice Springs, where we are at the moment, when I first came up and started working on solar projects up here, there were only 2 1 kilowatt grid connected systems in the whole of the Northern Territory, and now there's several megawatts of those systems connected. So it's been a very rapid uptake in that last period of time. So the solar dishes that you saw out at Hermannsburg are a parabolic dish, and essentially they trap the sun in a series of reflected mirrors and concentrate it right to a centre collector. The idea behind that is that you can lower the overall cost by using the collector is the most expensive bit. If you can use less of it, then it cheapens the entire installation. The downside is that because it follows the sun, and because it concentrates it on this parabolic dish, that if the cloud comes over or if it loses track of the sun a little bit, then it drops the output very, very quickly. Whereas the fixed arrays that you see around us, like the ones just near us, if the sun drops out, or the cloud comes over the sun, or if you get bad weather, then the output doesn't drop quite as quickly. So it's 2 different types of approaches, and they each have their benefits inside different environments. There's lots of advances that are being made in solar technology. One of the interesting things around solar PV is that the basic technology that you see right next to us has been here for about 30 odd years. And what you're seeing is people advancing the way the technology is manufactured and the efficiency of it. And so one of the key drivers of the market is that while efficiency has got better over the last few years, the manufacturing cost has dropped hugely. And even in over the last 3 years, we've seen a reduction in cost of probably 50 to 60%, and we think that it's going further. And so the panels themselves are becoming a lot cheaper. There is significant uptake on solar. There's been some government policies that have seen the household uptake increase by literally hundreds of percent. It's increasing year on year by about 60%. So it's massive changes to that industry. Where there's a big difference at the moment is in the commercial size solar systems, that they're not increasing. We're not getting the uptake as much as we'd like. And that's partly due to government policy and partly just due to the state of the industry and how well they've been able to prepare for that. And I think the future is bright for solar in the country, but it is going to require some approaches by the government to make sure that they're not artificially favouring coal or some of the other fossil fuel technologies. I remember when I was about 10, when I used to live in country Victoria, seeing and hearing about the Solar Challenge and thinking that was really, really cool. And I then went on to do engineering at uni and sort of heard more about it. And I ended up working for a car manufacturer, which was we didn't have anything to do with solar when I was working for them. But I ended up here in Alice Springs, and it was sort of one of those things where it turns around, and I ended up getting to see it come through and get to know some of the teams that were coming through. I think it's a magnificent event, and it's I always get really excited when I see them coming through, and the opportunity for people to push those boundaries around what can the car do, what can a vehicle do, and what can solar cells do too. It really changes people's perception about solar and the entire industry, and everyone gets really excited about it. So I'm looking forward to seeing the next one come through and see which team does well. Well, my tip for all the international teams is turn right at Uluru, and all the Australian teams keep going south to Adelaide. That's what we need to do. Just take a little bit of a break so the Australian teams can win. For all of the team on Solar Team 20, good luck. I hope you do well, and I would encourage you to realise that the work you guys are doing is setting a benchmark for the solar industry in the future, and it really is pioneering work. So it might be hard, you might be working a lot of long hours, but the rewards are worth it. So and all of us in the industry appreciate the work you're doing. So thank you.